Well, good morning. Shannon and I are going to be doing a little bit more brainstorming this morning until other people come and join us. We've been working on this document for the last couple of days. We have about 11 pages of brainstorming done. It's kind of in big type font, but what we're doing is we're brainstorming on tools and how we use tools. Tools are used by everybody, like in some way or another, whether it's physically a hammer or a saw or a drill, or whether it's a pen or paper, a toothbrush, whatever. They're all tools. Spoons, forks, knives. We use tools every day. Computers, cars, those are all tools. And we're basically just kind of brainstorming on some tools that we get to use and how we are doing in Atlas. Where our brainstorming left us the other day was we started out with our head and mind as one of the first tools, and then we started going down through some features, advantages, and benefits. We got into some limitations, and then even how do you break some of these tools. Our next little option up was pen and paper, basically kind of taking it to the written level, and we did the same thing, features, advantages, and benefits, some limitations, and then even how do you break some of the pen and paper models. Beyond that, we said that we not wanted to go to computerized or digitized, some sort of a form of word processing, and so we started talking about that. Once again, same thing, pros, cons, limitations, how do you break it, what happens. Beyond Word documents or word processing, we talked about spreadsheets. And right about here is where Adilas starts coming in. Like, we don't necessarily use spreadsheets, but we use a lot of the similar pieces. Automatic functions, references, things that are somewhat organized into columns and rows and reports, and not that we necessarily do this, we export to spreadsheets, but this starts kind of getting into the realm of where we start playing some of our games. We talked about some of the pros and cons of spreadsheets. Great tool, very useful, and we actually mimic a number of the pieces that are from that particular piece of the puzzle. Once you pass up spreadsheets and you kind of break that model or you need to go beyond, you get into databases. Databases have huge capacity as far as linking tables together and like how you can create relationships. You don't have to see everything at once. You can permission it. You can pull things into smaller pieces. It's definitely a huge step up from databases, from spreadsheets. And one of the neat things is your capacity just grows incredibly. So instead of being limited to, say, 14,000 rows, you all of a sudden get into the millions and billions and trillions, which are huge capacity. And that's just for one table. So if you needed to, you just add another table, then all of a sudden you have billions and billions again. So it's like you can duplicate that, you can put it into clusters. Databases take it to a huge level. There are multiple different kinds of databases. We kind of just talked a little bit about that.
Does it track your volume in your table?
Absolutely.
So you can just get on and see, okay, my table's 60% full. Or
Mm-hmm. So basically what you do is you can tell it, hey, how many records do you have? Or how many, you ask it. Like, there are visual representations that kind of will show you size and different things like that, but it's pretty easy to kind of monitor how big different tables are and stuff. So, okay, beyond databases, you start getting into the next level where it's kind of almost more of a professional level, where you start getting into software packages and IT. And I might even put software packages because I think that might even make it more. Software packages and IT, that's information technology. Basically, we talked about how you start getting database pieces of the puzzle, but put into an application that's pre-built for you and to help you do some of these neat things. And most of our world right now is kind of living in the software packages and IT level in certain places, if you will. So basically what we even call ourselves at Adilas is software as a service. So we kind of go beyond the software package where you put it on your own computer, and we kind of take you clear to the cloud level, which is actually our next category. So after we talked about some pros and cons of software,
we talked about the cons.
we didn't talk about the cons. Why don't we review, just as the way we're headed right now, the next level up is web and cloud, okay? And then even beyond that, I'm not sure if we went any further than that, but we are proposing then it actually goes clear out to the level of API or custom, and then eventually clear out to the level of what we would call world building. This is basically some of the stories in movies. They use this to build different characters and relationships and problems and solve things, and they kind of almost take you to your own level of what's going on. And so this is kind of where we're seeing some of the process going, and this is definitely to the ultra custom level. But anyway, we're going to be just kind of, as we're waiting for people, we're just brainstorming and kind of playing this puzzle. So we were on software. We had to jump to cloud at one point. Somebody had some questions, so we skipped a few steps. So we're going to come back and kind of talk what we were doing on software packages and IT. And on the part of the pros and cons, or the features and advantages and benefits, we'll just kind of start reviewing, and hopefully it'll kind of help us get back into the puzzle here. Package or packaged, pre-built. It's on your own computer. Industry-specific scope or niche. Okay. So software, what does it do? What can we do? It keeps coming out with new upgrades or versions. Improvements are being made. People are building on it. People are using on it. Software is usually fairly user-friendly. That's a general statement, because there are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of choices. And maybe that's a thing that we could actually add, if you will, is that there are thousands and thousands of choices.
James just joined us.
Awesome. Good morning, James. We're just kind of brainstorming on some stuff right now until we had some other people join us. But if you have any questions, please holler at us. We are here to help and kind of get you going on whatever training or direction you have or questions. We're just kind of basically refreshing / kind of getting into the process of it. So please let us know. We don't have to be doing what we're doing at all. We're basically just brainstorming. We are just kind of waiting for people to come. So anyway, we're talking about software and some of the pros and cons of software. And then what we're trying to do is we're trying to say, hey, there's tons of tools out there. And as you use a tool is very good for the job you're doing, but at a certain point, sometimes you might need a different tool or a better tool, and it's not even necessarily good or bad. Sometimes it's just, I need a different one, or I need one that does something faster or more efficient or more controlled or more detailed. Like, it's not always bigger is better. Like, if you're an artist, bigger is not always better, okay? As a matter of fact, you start big and then you actually work down to small because you need that infinite detail level. So not everything is bigger, 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 better, 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 faster, faster, faster. Sometimes you actually want to take it back down to a manual level so that you can actually get exact precision of what you're looking for. So automatic sounds awesome, but in certain cases, it's a potential danger. Imagine a car. You just start it, and you had the thought of going to here, and it all of a sudden takes off on you. But what if that was just your thought and had no clue that you really still needed to get gas? Like, basically, there are certain pieces that you want to leave manual because it's important. You don't want the drill to just start randomly drilling things, okay? You don't want it to randomly do stuff. So anyway, software, user-friendly, and once again, that's kind of just a general statement. I'm going to actually put that there. Is that his full statement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, support. They have manuals. They're well used, and there's communities that support these things. There's training, lots and lots of resources. You feel like you own something when you have software. Even if it's older, you still own it. It's on your computer. You can customize it for yourself. You can change some of your settings, defaults, templates, whatever that might be. You can even add toolbars and move things around. It kind of creates your workflow in a way. And maybe help with that. Customize it yourself. So we're not trying to bag on like saying pros or cons or goods or bads. Like, We use software all the time. I am currently using Microsoft Word, an older version, but it's a great tool. I love it. Software is awesome, awesome, awesome stuff. Networking, getting everything can be hardwired. You can connect things, okay? You can establish these different connections. It's a tool, and it's meant for a specific job. It's a catered toolbox. I think that came right from Shannon. It has a version number, and that relates to a historic level of the software. Is it level 9? Is it level 10? Is it 5.7? Is it build 3.74? Whatever it might be. So that kind of stuff. Shannon, are there any other things that you can think of that are some pros or some features, advantages, and benefits of software? There are freeware packages as well. Freeware, shareware. And different pricing structures.
Definitely.
So you have lots of choices. Sometimes you can buy bundles, packages, suites. Like they're somewhat integrated, or they somewhat have similar flow, or there's different things that are happening. You can even get downloadable software. Like it gets installed on your machine, but you didn't actually have to get a disk. You can actually download it. So that's cool as well. Okay, awesome. Let's go to limitations really quick for software. And James, if you have some questions or something, or if you want some specific training, our plan today is we're on day 3. We're going to be in banks and deposits and expenses and financials and all this kind of stuff. We were just kind of brainstorming right now until we get some direction, or it's just kind of like to get the blood flowing again for the class. Limitations on software. Price.
Cost, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Same with your IT and everything.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's perfect. Okay, so it could be anywhere from 0 to millions and millions and millions. And potentially even more than that. Like huge range. Is it just the $25 thing you want to go buy from Walmart? Or is it a brand new custom solution that you're going to pay for a huge company to come in? It's going to be a year implementation, and it's going to be, X millions of dollars. $4 million for the original, and then $100,000 per year as the renewal fee or whatever. Like you could potentially play with huge numbers if you're talking software and stuff. Okay, let's actually talk about implementation. Implementation and delivery. How are you going to get this thing, Do you install it? Do you download it? Do you, like, how do you get it? Does it come over the network? Is it served up to you? Okay.
Just that extra hour.
Basically, how do you consume it? How do you consume it? Okay, another possible limitation is versions and computers. They don't always match, okay?
And upgrades, there's a lot of upgrades. Maybe one other thing that's really challenging about software is that it's static to a great degree, which is, why they have upgrades, but it only does what it does, and it's not really flexible beyond that.
Okay. Okay. How would you phrase that?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So one of the other things.
Less flexible. One of the other things is what?
Once you make it, it is that version until the next go around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect, great, awesome. What is possibly another small limitation of software? Licenses. Okay.
Yes.
So say you had 50 people that needed to use that piece of software. All of a sudden, you have to have 50 licenses of that software.
Expensive.
Yeah.
That's true. Very true.
That actually could potentially create a bottleneck. Say you only had enough money to put it on 2 computers, but technically you had 10 people that needed that.
Mm-hmm.
You just created a bottleneck just by licensing, okay? So
Yes.
bottlenecks or potential, like not getting the person the right tools. You hire a carpenter and you're like, buddy, you only get to use a screwdriver and a hammer. Good luck.
Sorry.
And if you want to saw that, just start using your teeth. I'm just teasing, but like,
Not how effective you'll be.
you could actually limit people by not getting them the right tools.
Definitely.
Okay, another possible limitation of software is they're usually very niche specific, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. Like, that's actually why you buy it. However, how many different little pieces do you have to combine together?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this actually creates, okay, so I have this to do this, and this to do this, and this to do this, and this to do this. All of a sudden, you're at 4 to 6 to 8 niche pieces of software that have no way of being connected. Like,
Yeah, you're trying to marry together programs that are not compatible, or it takes a lot of effort to do that. Definitely.
compatible. Is there an I in there?
Then
Okay, so it's niche specific. Then you have to try to marry non-compatible products together. And the average, what's the average on a business?
I would guess, like you said, 4 to 6. Different, 4 at least. Probably.
I would say for sure 4 to 6 packages or software packages.
That's a lot.
And maybe more. So you could technically have your operations, your inventory tracking, maybe a quote program, maybe a scheduling program, maybe a dispatch program, and maybe even like your back-end accounting, and then you need your website, and then you need your merchant processing, and then you need your, like, it just gets nuts. It gets nuts really quick. So, okay, awesome, great. What's another potential limitation of software? Like, I'm not trying to bag on it at all. We use it constantly. Like, I use products to make web stuff. I use software packages. Software packages are what we are used to right now. It's currently the way we roll, how we kind of flow. So what are some other possible limitations of a software package? Skill set?
Mm-hmm. I was actually thinking along those lines.
Okay. What's another possible limitation that we might have? Let's go to breaking it. How do you break software?
Get a virus. I don't know.
Okay, great. Viruses. What else? How else do you break software? Outdated.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Cost. Like you could break a software could be the coolest thing ever, but if you can't afford it, then you just broke it. Okay. I would say the cost is definitely a factor in breaking things. Also volume.
Definitely.
Okay. So say I have a really cool piece of software and I have it on my machine, but somebody else needs to use it. All of a sudden, I just increase new costs because I have to hardwire to yours and yours and yours and yours.
Mm-hmm.
And then how big is my little system that it's on? Is it literally a server and can handle that, or is it a teeny little laptop? You know, like
Definitely.
so, like you start getting some hardware potential issues, or it's kind of traffic and hardware. Okay, how are some other ways that you could potentially break software? Anything you can break by not doing anything. Okay,
Right.
like doing nothing breaks everything.
Mm-hmm.
That'll break the coolest, neatest thing, but it just kind of just depends on how things are going. So, Shannon, any other ideas on like how you could break software?
If there's not support for it, or if users potentially don't understand how to use it, they would probably switch to something else or stop using that product.
Okay.
Floods and fires, Santiago says.
Good,
Natural disasters.
Good call.
This could definitely break your software. Have to buy it again and download it all over again.
Alrighty, I am not a very good speller this morning. Disasters. Okay. Anything else that we have that could potentially break software? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, we literally use software all the time, but like, if your computer crashes, oh no! What if you don't have everything saved, or like, like, I'd say even computer crashes. Just kind of call it as it is. We already put hardware, but we'll just put it computer crashes. Okay, awesome. Is there anything else that would break software? How about this? How about newer products with more features?
Definitely.
So you could have something that's really cool and it's cutting edge, and all of a sudden something comes out, so there's this constant leapfrogging effect, if you will. Is that not how you spell frogging?
I bet it wants you to say leapfrog. Leapfrog of features.
Okay. Cool.
Steve is also joining us.
Wonderful. Awesome. Cool. So that pretty much kind of wraps up what we did for software right there.